Hello, welcome. Another Cappy stream. We're playing Grindstone today on the Steam Deck. You might
Steam Deck?
Yeah, you might be looking at this going, that doesn't
Wait,
look
what
like
is the Steam Deck? Is that the thing you use for streaming that has all the buttons on it?
That's the Stream Deck, which I also have handy. But the Steam Deck is the gaming platform that I believe both of us have in front of us.
I guess technically you could say that.
Well, this is not the view that I think most people were looking forward to. They wanted to actually see it on the Steam Deck. So I'm just going to pop over and show you guys that. Oh, also, I guess I should introduce ourselves. I'm Christian from Cappy. With me is Ken.
I'm Ken, also from Cappy.
So this is the view I think most people wanted to see. This is actually Grindstone running on the Steam Deck. I've got a video out so that you guys can see, you know, it is actually running on the Steam Deck. This is just a nicer way to view it, which is like the on-device screen rather than like looking at it through a camera. You will notice there's a little bit of empty space here at the bottom that's showing the desktop. That won't happen unless you do the very strange thing I had to do to get this to work nicely for a stream and showing in both locations. So we are actually remote playing Grindstone from the Steam Deck to Steam on my PC where I'm streaming from. And if I don't do that, it ends up with a little bit of cut off screen because the 1280 by 800 resolution of the Steam Deck does not match the output resolution of 1280 by 720. So this is just a little bit of a goofy jury rig to make it work, but this is what I think most people are expecting.
I don't understand a single thing you said, but I trust you since you are the streaming expert.
Yeah, we use the term expert loosely here. I'm still finding my feet very much and fiddling around with a ton of tech stuff. But the Steam Deck is like a wonderful piece of hardware. It's got this really comfortable feeling set of grips. The buttons are really nice. The analog sticks are nice and smooth and reactive. And these touch panels are actually really helpful. I've got it set to console mode though, so we're going to play it as if it's like a normal console. Oh, that's a nice reflection. Every time we go into that view, you guys are going to get to see up my nose. So I have been playing a little bit already. So there is some progress here. If you joined us for any of our previous streams, you would have seen us sort of getting to this point. But with the game running in 720, it's flawless. It's fantastic. But like that's the resolution you're going to get using the Steam Deck screen. If you do the desktop output mode, you will be able to go much higher resolutions. You can get up to the 4K resolution that's available there. That just doesn't work nicely for capturing while streaming from the Steam Deck. So keep that in mind. You can get much nicer looking gameplay if you don't need to stream and see the screen itself as we do. So we wanted this view so you guys could see that, hey, this is the Steam Deck. We are playing on the Steam Deck.
Right. So that desktop mode is like you're plugging a monitor into your Steam Deck and just using your Steam Deck as sort of like a mini PC at that point.
Exactly, yeah. So that would be, I think, some people's preferred way to use this. If you don't have a powerful gaming PC, you might be inclined to play it that way. I, however, went overboard buying expensive PCs, and then I wanted a really nice gaming platform to go portable, and the Steam Deck is really much the perfect thing because it's got a huge back catalog of games that I've not gotten to naturally from Steam sales and friends gifting codes. So there's just a huge helping of games that I need to play.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. But for me, it's like I'm like always on this computer. This is the computer I use for work. So then I'm always like, do I really want to like eat up so much hard drive space for games that I'll probably never play or very rarely play? So I'm like, the Steam Deck, I can just like uninstall all the games from my work PC, have a lot of space to actually do work, and then just have a dedicated place to put all the games that I may not play. So to me, like that is like a pretty perfect use case.
Now you ordered one, you have one, but you haven't
Well, I actually ordered 2.
Oh, right.
I feel a little guilty saying that, but just because like, oh, maybe I'll increase my chances of getting one if I order one from each of my Steam accounts.
I don't think you
But
need to feel any sort of guilt towards that. Everybody had the opportunity to get them. It's just whether they decided they wanted one at the start or if they thought about it later and pick one up after the fact.
I don't know, it feels very like, you know, when people like hoard stuff when things are released and then they resell them on eBay or whatever.
I do, yes.
That's sort of what I feel like I'm doing. I'm like, does one person need 2 Steam Decks?
Need?
But,
Absolutely not.
But I think, you know, it's a good thing to use just for like dev purposes. So I think it's gonna come in handy.
You were also very generous in offering that second one around the studio. It seems that the people who wanted one already grabbed one, so
yeah,
there was no need for an extra. Now we haven't touched specifically on what Grindstone is. For anybody who's brand new to Grindstone and just joining us now, this is our puzzle hack and slasher. I'm sure there's better terms that I'm forgetting. I always forget to do this.
I think one of our taglines was Puzzle Battles Splatterfest, which is always a tongue twister.
Oh,
but it is, essentially like a color matching puzzle game. And that mechanic is used to sort of play this sort of battle RPG hack and slash system. So you can see, like, you are George. He's the hulking stone grinder. And you're slaughtering all these colored creeps. And the way you do that is that you can draw a path through creeps of the same color, and that's sort of like your attack chain. And if you do big enough chains, it will spawn these shiny grindstones. Those are those rainbow things you see on the board.
Yeah, this one right
and then,
here.
yeah. So then if you chain into a grindstone, you can actually change color of your chain, and that allows you to create like bigger chains. So it's this game of like finding the optimal paths, connecting them with grindstones, and then you'll see there's all other things introduced on the board, like those stronger jerks, those gray guys with the spears. So there's a whole bunch of different enemy types that you'll encounter in the game, and those guys require certain amounts of attack power to kill. So if you want to take that guy out, you got to figure out how can I create a path that's at least 12 attack power long, and I can take him out. Yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. Like, the idea is pretty simple to understand, hopefully.
It's hopefully it's a straightforward concept with a lot of nuance. So we've got a bunch of gear there on the right side. This whole panel here is full of equipment that you can use as you fight your way through the caves, or I almost want to call them dungeons, but that's not quite right. Sorry, I'm also monitoring some tech chat. We've got Helper Bears saying the music is great. We agree. Now, you may hear a little bit of stuttering, and that is not the fault of the Steam Deck. That is the remote play using my Wi-Fi, which is being heavily taxed right now as I attempt to stream and remote play to multiple locations. Can't quite get where I want to, but I'm going to stick around. I hope I can get down to lower areas.
So, like, the game takes place on Grindstone Mountain. So essentially, you're starting at the bottom of this huge, tall mountain, and as you play through different levels, you're kind of working your way up. And as you go up, you're sort of progressing through different environments, through different biomes. Each of those biomes has its own unique sets of hazards and enemy types. So we're still pretty early on in the game right now, but hopefully, as you play longer, you'll see more and more twists and turns of how the mechanics are used and the different types of enemies and their behaviors and stuff like that.
It's getting pretty hairy in here too. I'm not sure how long I'm going to want to stick around.
Yeah, so you'll notice some of the creeps, they're sitting idle, while other ones are sort of, they look like they're angry and ready to attack. So the way the game works is that every turn, more and more creeps on the board become aggroed. And what that means is that more and more of the board becomes dangerous. So you don't want to end your turn in a spot where you're beside an angry creep, because by doing so you're going to get hurt, and then obviously once you've used up your 3 hearts, then you die and you've got to start the level all over again. So there is sort of danger on the board that's constantly ramping up as you play, which is part of the fun of the game. You know, it's about this risk reward thing. Like, do I stick around and try to grind out more grindstones and resources, or do I hit the level objective, which is usually just killing X number of creeps and getting out of there and moving on to the next one? So it's sort of up to you and sort of part of the game.
Yeah, you'll see I just got one of the extra bonus objectives, which was to unlock that chest there. The last one is to get this guy here at the bottom. I don't know how well he'll highlight there. So this guy here. Oh, look, a mouse. I forgot about the mouse cursor. So the touch screen of the Steam Deck is helping me out here. I can also go into this view, so you can see my thumb. So this guy here is the other objective, and thankfully I'll be able to get him because of these wonderful grindstones here.
Oh, yeah.
Just drop down, grab him, step over here, change color with another grindstone. Oops.
Oh, you could probably take out the spear guy too while you're at it.
Oh, I can! I was so concerned about getting the heck over there. I didn't even think about doing this. Now, if I go one step further, I put myself at risk of this red creep right below me, so I'm not going to end there. I'm going to end one space back and shorten my path here. We refer to those as chains. So this is a long chain, and you can see in the bottom right there it says 22. That's my total chain length, and the little 4 above my cursor here is the chain strength. So that's how much I can hit for. So when I was building up over here, I've got 13, and I can bash through this guy with 12. I've got 1 left, and then I can start building that number up again. And I don't have enough to take this guy down. I've got 4 and he's a 12, so I'm gonna have to leave him for later. But you can see I get to color change, I get to run through all these enemies. This guy's on the swag, charging creeps, take out this jerk with a spear.
Yeah, so there is a bit of math that you sometimes have to do, but you know, hopefully most people are good at math at this point. It's just basic addition and subtraction.
Yeah. I like to think of it as counting. I just count until my number is bigger than their number, and then I tell myself, I'm like, okay, I did it. I'm just noticing that I've got a message here that says you can't see on the Steam broadcast, so let's just see.
Let's double check that it's working.
Yeah.
I see it. But issue.
Okay. It exists. I see it up, but I don't. I just see the black screen. So we might only be going on YouTube at the moment. But
because I see it.
Well, that's extra confusing.
Don't know.
Okay, we ran into this this similar issue before, but don't want to fixate on it right now. We've got a couple of people behind the scenes who are going to look into it, see if they can get that sorted out. But in the meantime, I still want to show off the lovely Steam Deck and just how nicely this all works. It's very, I don't know, it's very smooth, it's very comfortable. I actually really like playing with the Steam Deck. It's a little bit heavier than I would think it would be. But I've also been playing on like a Switch and a Switch Lite, so this obviously is a fair bit more chunky and bulky, but I actually really do appreciate the extra heft. It's like when you have a mouse that's just too light, doesn't feel good to use it.
Yeah, so one thing that I remember people talking about is like when they initially saw the Steam Deck, they were like, oh, those button placements seem really weird and awkward, but I've never tried it myself, but I'm guessing it feels pretty comfortable to use.
Yeah, it'll be a little hard to demonstrate with where the camera is right now, but if you see things are very vertical, so my arms are actually straight, whereas if I'm playing on some of the other consoles, you have to like bend your arms so your elbows come out. Sorry, I'm trying to combine this on the two cameras. So your elbows end up coming out so that you can reach the lower areas of your console, but because everything's so far at the top, you actually get to hold the whole thing pretty much straight in front of you. And that actually makes it a lot more comfortable. Your arms can relax instead of having to flare out. You're not like using your shoulders the whole time. So I actually think that's a pretty smart design decision. It will throw you off initially. You will think like, oh, weird, I gotta like change the way I sit and enjoy the Steam Deck. But it is a pretty nice experience, especially once you get used to it.
Yeah. I guess one issue that I see is that my main portable game playing takes place while I'm lying in bed with the thing in front of my face. And I'm guessing the Steam Deck is probably not ideal for that situation.
I don't want to talk you out of it. But I also don't want to see you drop it on your face late at night.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing. So then, in order to prevent me dropping things on my face, I bought like this arm that I attached to my bed frame that I can like plant a tablet onto.
I don't think you're the only one who went that route. I think we've got another coworker who did the same thing. He's got an arm to hold everything up for him.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just trying to juggle a few things here. Somebody just sent a message just to check and see if I can poke some settings in the background here. So give me 1 second while I look. Yep, everything is set to public, so I think we should be good. We're just having a couple of people mention they can't see anything. They're just staring at black, so... Hopefully that's minor.
For anyone who sees black and doesn't hear anything, drop a message in chat.
And doesn't hear anything, drop a message in chat. Actually, I wonder if we've got one of our producers handy to type in the chat. We are live on YouTube, so if anybody wants to pop over there, they can see us. I'm not sure what the issue is. This is our first time using Restream, and I don't want to blame them. I just think that we don't maybe know how it's supposed to work. Oh, we've got snacks. You can grab the snacks.
Oh. Yeah, barbecue burps is still my favorite. It's cheap, it's useful, it helps you out for a few number of turns. So these snacks are kind of like big, I don't know what you call them in games, like super moves.
We were kind of referring to them as gear before, because it's kind of another it's another weapon in your arsenal. But also they're unique because you eat them, you consume them. They're really expensive, and you can only get them by killing creeps. Also, for anybody who's grossed out at the level of gore, you can turn this down. It is currently set to max gore, so that bucket looks pretty gnarly. But you can scale that down. It can be made family friendly, and it just is not at the moment.
Yeah, so these snacks are sort of like one-time use, very powerful board fixers, I've heard some people call them. So if you're ever stuck in a situation and you're kind of desperate to get out, that's when these kind of abilities come in handy.
I do like the term board fixer, because some of these are extremely handy that way. Like Thief Relief, not so much, but like Eat Your Greens gives you a chance for like a really huge chain. It cleans out anything that you were having trouble with. Artery Extinction, which I was just looking at, Guaranteed Heartburn, destroys every creep, jerk, and destructible item. I think it also takes, was it 50% of boss health?
Yeah, so you can instantly chop down a boss's health by 50%, which is pretty huge. Yeah,
that's really handy. And it gives you that chance, like if you're really overwhelmed with those aggro creeps, you can pull this out, get a little save. You might be able to keep yourself alive for another turn. There's also some lower level ones, like Thief Relief is really good for chasing off Gladys the Thief. A lot of people dislike, I'll be polite and say they dislike her instead of absolutely hating her. But this is a good way to get rid of her. If she's in there, you can use this. chases her off, she'll leave her loot sack so you can pick up some goodies. We've also got the Mystic's Milk Tea, which summons the Mystic so that you can get to the bonus realm, get a bunch of big grindstones, hopefully. And then we already covered the barbecue burps, and yeah, that's all that's in here. But we've got enough to make anything we want.
I've seen people recently use the Mystic Milk Tea just to help them get to the bonus realm in order to do, I think this weekly challenge is like do a bunch of 40 chains.
Right.
And people do that by...
Yeah, I think that's true. We should pop over to Dottie's and find out. It's funny, I've been using touchscreen for so long, it's actually throwing me off trying to use the buttons.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can pop over to Dottie's. We can, yeah, there we go. So we got our special weekly assignment. So this is to get the cosmetic hats, and it's weekly, so you actually need to do this every 7 days to get a new hat made by your son Harry.
Yeah, so these challenges are sort of like a bit harder than the normal challenges that you'll find when you visit the bar in the inn. So these challenges sort of are more involved. They might require specific gear, or they might require you hunting for specific types of enemies. But you know, you have 1 week to do it, and these are how you earn these cosmetic hats. And you probably don't have the hat room unlocked, but from there you can access all of the different hats you have and put them on and, you know, customize your look.
Well, let's see what we can do. Maybe we can summon the Mystic and see how close we can get to these 40 chains.
Chain is pretty difficult.
It's pretty tough. I might need a bit of luck, but let's see what we can do. Let me just jump back to the level I was working on. I gotta say, I regret this up-screen reflection off the Steam Deck every time it goes dark. This is one of those levels I've consistently found tough. It doesn't matter how far on I am, I always get into this level and struggle a little bit. Like, I find it challenging. There's no like easy out. You're always thinking you got to take your time because you're, you know, puzzling through what's the safe move that also nets you large enough chains to get more grindstones, because you'll need those when that hop frog respawns.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like some turns it can be very, very difficult to do anything, and then some turns you can like wipe out most of the board.
Yeah, like this would be a big one.
Yeah, I find this level pretty interesting too.
The once in a while yellow thing is what really messes me up. So you end up sort of risking big chains and then sort of having to weave through. It's not great timing. Yeah, so I think this is why people don't like Gladys. Like you're in a tough spot, and then she shows up just to make your life a little bit more difficult.
Yeah. So the reasons why she's so annoying is that she has a similar chaining ability as you. So she'll like try to path through big chains of colors, but at the same time, she's trying to hunt down grindstones as well. So any grindstones you have on the board, she's going to try to chain them, and if she does, she's actually going to steal them off the board, which is super annoying because some of those grindstones, you know, you really have to work hard for, and you kind of need them to get you out of tough situations. So that's why a lot of people dislike her. I am one of those people as well. So whenever you see her, you want to try your best to take her out as soon as possible, or get to the grindstones before she does.
Yeah, I thought I might get lucky and I could go the long way around.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to chase her down. And I made a mistake using my arrow early. I was thinking in my head, I'm like, oh, it'll leave a blank space, but of course not. She gets to go right after you, and that space just refilled. So she's gonna stick around for just like another couple turns, and then she's going to get. If there's nothing on the board, I think she's gonna leave on her own. So I either need to generate more grindstones, or I need to catch her early.
Yeah, this is a bad situation.
This is tough. She's gonna run off with my grindstones and her loot sack, which already has some goodies in it.
this grindstone helps you.
Yeah, I hope it lands on that left side.
Okay, looks good.
That's not bad.
Ah,
Just making it more difficult to go after her.
oh,
That-
lucky.
Oh, there you go. Get out of here.
Yeah. So then once you take her out, she'll drop her loot sack, and then from there you can recover all the things that she stole, as well as a bunch of extra things that she has already.
Now, sometimes I catch her and her bag is nearly empty, and I'm like, oh, okay, so it's been a rough day. I maybe should have let her have that. But other times it seems like there's some good stuff there. I found blueprints not long ago. It was pretty, pretty handy. I believe that's part of the seasonal.
Yeah. So we do have a bunch of different things happening during specific seasons, like summer or Christmas or Valentine's. So during those seasonal things, you'll see special gear that you can find through the thief sack. You'll also see like decorations when you go to the inn or Dottie's house. So we try to keep the game alive during different periods so that there's always a reason to come back and check out what's new.
Mm-hmm. Also, if anybody's noticing, I'm currently wearing an old, actually a very old event costume. I'm wearing the old Santa suit. I think we did this the very first Christmas that Grindstone launched.
Yeah, I think that was like our first update of the game. We launched back in, when was it, 2019 or 2020?
I was about to say, call the producer. She could tell us, but also she wasn't with us then, so she's joined since, and I'm not sure if she'll have the dates handy.
Yeah, but yeah, this game has been out for a while, but yeah, I think it finally came out on Steam last week, and along with that, we created a demo for the Steam Next Fest. So
if you're not willing to buy the game 40% off right now, you can check out the demo first.
Yeah.
But 40% off for a launch game, a game at launch? I don't know. I think that's pretty good.
Yeah. That would definitely be in. Purchase it and keep it in my backlog forever and never play it.
That's exactly how I normally do it. I'm like, oh man, I can't wait to play this game. I buy it and then it sits in my backlog.
Yep.
That's one of the nice things about working on a game is you know that you're going to end up having to play it. It's gonna push you to play at least that game in your library. And we often catch ourselves just like playing extra long and forgetting what the task is that we're supposed to be doing. Like if I'm testing a new feature or a level I've been working on, I end up just kind of messing about in it for far too long, even if I had like a specific goal in mind. Like, oh, you have to test this. We're looking at this feature.
Yep.
One more chain, one more move.
And then sometimes I forget what I was actually supposed to be doing. Like, oh yeah, I was supposed to be trying to kill this enemy with this weapon, but I totally forgot to do that because I was busy playing. And then I gotta do it again, and then I'll forget again, and it's just this weird endless loop that I find funny sometimes.
Yeah, I only get mad at myself in those situations when it was like a high stress thing, when you're like, damn it, we're trying to get a deadline here, and you just can't stop.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh yeah, I'm sure I'll remember on the next time. But if you don't mark your saves, you gotta go back, gotta do it again.
Yeah.
Right, here's our opportunity. We smash through the door, we're gonna see what's in that thief sack there.
I kind of feel like we should make sure the thief sack is always filled with goodies, just so that it's worth, because it's so annoying to kill her.
Yeah, maybe we should be rewarding people a little bit more.
Yeah. Okay. Decent treasure chest.
It's easier to see. 10 grindstones and 3 different resources.
Yeah, she wasn't too bad to kill, so.
No, in this case it was easy. Actually, that might be another interesting thing, is like how stressful was it to track her down. That did earn us a lost page though, so we can jump back to Howling Wolf Inn, go to the basement where we find Helga, and she's filling in this Bestius index with all the different creeps and jerks and enemies and people from Hellhole. specifically with their flavor profiles. Chickens obsessed with leg day.
Frog legs taste like chicken.
I have never had a frog leg, and I don't think it's a thing I'm inclined to do soon.
I've never either, but if it tastes like chicken,
that's the thing. I really like chicken. If somebody could confirm that with me, I might consider it. I'm just not eager to do it.
I've also heard alligator tastes like chicken.
I've heard the same thing. But then I start going, how much of this is just like a real world meme where people just say stuff like that?
But I can kind of see where it's coming from. So like, I've heard the thing where like dinosaurs turned into birds, right?
Sure. Yeah.
So then, that to me means like reptiles and birds. There's some kind of relationship there. So then, when you think like alligators, yeah, alligators are technically dinosaurs, right? They've been around since the dinosaur time.
I was finishing your sentence in my head, and I was like, "Is Ken about to tell me that crocodiles are birds?"
No, but they have that same relation that dinosaurs have with birds, you know. So it makes sense that birds have a certain taste. So I could picture dinosaurs also tasting like chicken, which would be awesome. Imagine eating like a gigantic drumstick from a T-Rex or something.
I mean, yeah, if I ate an alligator drumstick and that was just basically like a giant chicken wing, I feel like I might be pretty into that.
Yeah, me too. They should definitely clone dinosaurs for their meat. And nothing would go wrong at all.
I would like to think that would go totally fine, but we've had far too many documentaries suggesting otherwise.
That would be a great movie idea. Colonel Sanders hires like scientists to clone dinosaurs back so that he can harvest them to create the new KFC Dino Wings.
What I mean, wasn't there a character who looked exactly like Colonel Sanders in that movie we're carefully not mentioning right now?
Don't recall, and I'm not sure which movie you're referring to. So.
I thought we were riffing on Jurassic Park.
Yeah, was there a Colonel Sanders in Jurassic Park?
No, I mean he wasn't called Colonel Sanders, but there was like a white-haired.
Oh yeah, he was the guy. He was the owner, wasn't he?
Yeah. So in my head, you were just pitching. You were repitching Jurassic Park, but now it's about KFC
Maybe that is
chicken.
The story. Maybe he is Colonel Sanders.
Yeah, like, oh, this is the same movie, but also they did this so that they could all eat dinosaur wings.
I'm down with that.
I'm down with that too. That actually is a pretty good like rewrite of that script. Like it wasn't about an amusement park. It was like, guys, this is the farm that we use.
Yeah, there's a food shortage, so we need to clone dinosaurs.
Yeah, nobody likes lamb and horse and all these other meats that we've been feeding to the dinosaurs. So instead, we actually had to clone the dinosaurs themselves. And that's what everybody's been eating.
Yeah. This level seems pretty generous.
I was thinking the same thing. I'm getting through it rather quickly, but I'm also waiting to see if maybe there's like a hitch and all of a sudden things are going to go real sideways on me. Because I've taken some of these for granted in the past, and it's bit me in the butt. I mean, it's a 3-color level, so it's not like it's super easy. Oh, hi, Buckets. I forgot, since we're doing this a different method, you guys are actually going to see any pop-ups on the Steam Deck. Again, anyone who's joining us late, this is actually being played on the Steam Deck. I had to do a little bit of like crazy workaround so you guys could see the stream as well as seeing it on device, but this was our compromise so you guys would get a good viewing experience by seeing the actual output and also by being able to see it on device. Oh my, Thief's back again. Kind of want to take her out right away.
I say it's worth it.
The thing is, any move I make after that is going to put me in danger.
You can use your shield, or you can just take the hit.
Yeah, I can take a hit. So I like to think about the economics of what I'm doing. So if I stay put, I know exactly what the board is going to look like. I take the hit. It's only going to cost me 5 grindstones. If I use the shield, I normally do it if I'm going to take 2 or more hits because I'm going to keep myself alive. And then again, economically, I think it works out better. So my hoarding mind is always trying to min-max.
Yeah.
Make sure I keep as many of those luscious grindstones as I can. Oh, bonus! I forgot that this gear triggers on occasion and will save my butt. So that was the, was it gladiator outfit? What did we...
I think that's right. Yeah, so along with gear in the game, there's different armors that you can find and unlock. And those armors have different sorts of passive abilities. So previously we were wearing the old Santa suit. And that had the strange ability of like sometimes Christmas presents will spawn at the end of your chain. So this one is the gladiator suit, and what this one does is gives you... It'll just help you out in general as you're playing.
So Ken, you just cut out there for a second as you said 20, and I think you were about to say 25%?
Yeah, so there's a 25% chance that you will dodge attacks. So, you know, it's a... Oh, something just...
Out. So for anybody who was wondering, this is the Steam Deck desktop mode. So this is what it looks like. This is what I was using to make sure that we were getting connected, but it seems like we just got bumped, and oh, it's because my Wi-Fi dropped, which I half expected, but I was hoping wouldn't happen. Let me see. I also like only half remember how to navigate this when it's in desktop mode.
Wait, are you going to dox yourself with any information?
No. But now you got me nervous.
Is there any confidential trade secrets?
Probably not. So let's see if we can get that back. The only thing now, Ken, you won't be able to see the game. Let me see if I can share something with you so that you can see. It'll be a little bit smaller, but hopefully you can still see what you need to see there.
I can see a bunch of stuff.
Can you see the game window in there? If I look at it, it looks like a white screen, but...
Yeah, it looks like it's a white screen for me.
So the other nice thing, you just saw it said resume your current battle. So we actually save the state of the game after every move. So you're never going to lose more than one step, which is really nice because that can totally happen. It used to happen on mobile devices where you think, oh, cool, I'm good to go. I'm just humming along. And then, whoops, something kind of bounces you out. This is a really looking nice move here. I'm going to get the chest, the slob, and exit all in the same move and leave behind a 25 size grindstone. That is very nice.
Better than that.
Oh, looks good to me. You still just see white, eh, Ken?
Okay, I see it now.
Weird. Okay. I guess it was because I was still in the Discord window. Other window.
Oh, blueprint.
I get so excited when I see blueprints because I have not memorized the order the gear comes in.
Yeah.
So every time I see another one, I get reminded, like, oh yeah. Like there's more gear to use, more stuff to grab. So we've shown off what I have so far. Maybe it's time to switch up some of that gear.
What's this?
Poison arrow. This one's great. I love the poison arrow.
It has its pros and cons.
It's it's a slow motion piece of gear. It'll do a lot of damage, but you got to be patient. You got to hit them and then wait for the poison to take effect.
Yeah, and like it's not good just for general board cleanup, because normally when you use basic arrows, you can just use them to like pick off certain creeps and then shift the board around to help you out. But with a poison arrow, you can't really do that because it's going to leave poison on the board, which is dangerous for you.
Yeah,
So it's not a good utility one, but it's a good one to like weaken enemies if you're having a hard time with strong enemies.
Yeah, I'll say I think a lot of people don't like the poison, then don't notice the poison, so they'll run through it and not notice themselves getting that poison and scooping up. But oh, I'm getting called out for my notifications. Please don't look at those. Yeah, I have 112 Steam notifications because I was doing support work and then it turned into just people chatting, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna ignore these for a little bit, and then it turned into a year's worth of notifications. There's also a good running joke about my tabs, so we're also not gonna look at my tabs.
Yeah, let's not go there. I still think that your hundreds of tabs are the reason why we have so many problems on the screen.
It's true. I was using another computer that has not nearly as many tabs open, and we basically did that nice and smooth. The only thing that happened was my camera lost battery.
That's a good solution. When you have too many tabs, just buy a new computer. That way you can open more.
It's effective. I don't know what you want from me.
I mean, it's true. You can't say that it's not true.
I'm not saying it's for everybody, but it happened to work in my case.
And then you go and complain about, oh, I have 5 computers in this room. It's so hot.
Yeah, I had to run them
you had
through
to cut a hole. Yeah, you had to cut a hole in your wall just to like put the computer in a different room.
Well, even now you can see like I'm starting to get a little like shiny, and that's just, it's warm in here. You know, my body heat, the summer air.
And you have 1,000 tabs.
I have 1,000 tabs.
Again,
generating
the problem all comes down to the fact that you have too many tabs.
Yeah, I was going to blame the studio lighting, but sure. Gotta be the tabs. Tabs do generate a lot of heat. I don't know if you guys know this.
That's true. In the winter, I try to open more tabs, you know.
I mean, sometimes it's nice to open them and just not have to turn on the heat.
Yeah. I actually, to be honest, I do that. Like, my computer is like on the floor beside me, and then sometimes in the winter when my feet get cold, I just sort of like put my feet on my computer, and it's actually pretty effective.
Yeah, I normally squeeze my feet behind my computer, but now that it's in the next room, I have to turn the other way and wiggle my toes over the vent.
Oh.
It's not quite the same. It's fine, but it's not the same.
Yeah, I always find it weird that like I have a laptop cooler fan under my laptop at all times, but then right above that I have a heater on my desk to warm me up during the winter. So I feel like this is like,
it feels counterproductive. You're doing two opposing actions there.
Yeah. So maybe I should try to optimize this setup a bit.
Making a choice here to leave the thief for one more turn. I'm hoping she doesn't cut through all those blues.
So on the Steam Deck, the touchpads work like a normal touchpad on a laptop?
Not exactly, but sort of. So in desktop mode, this actually has like a cursor to it, which won't do it because I'm in like console mode, but I can touch the screen and I can show a cursor there. But this right one is for like mouse movement. It's also got a lot of haptics, so you can tell when you're over top of something when it's ready to act. And in the mode that I'm in now, this actually works as like a D-pad.
Oh,
with all like the diagonals and stuff. It's pretty handy for navigating. I'm not going to say it's my preferred. I do like the analog sticks because they are pretty good. They're a little taller than I'd like. I wish they were just like a tiny bit shorter. If they ever make another version that's swappable, I don't think they want you opening these up, but if they ever did come out with like a swappable shorter stick, I would probably go a little bit shorter.
Yeah, I had that same concern. Like, I think of the Steam Deck as a portable device, and then when I think of it as a portable device, like, could I put it in my pocket or in my bag? And having these tall analog sticks definitely makes it a bit more difficult to do that.
Yeah, I mostly worry about what's going to happen if I put a big chunk of electronics in my pocket.
Yeah.
My brain always says, like, that is not a good idea.
Yeah.
So we brought some new gear with us. We got those poison arrows that we discussed. They're not specifically useful in this moment, but I've also got the jump potion up here, which allows me to reposition
You can poison Gladys if you want.
I could, but I don't. I think that's just going to make her weaker, and then I'm going to pick up the poison when I chain through her.
That's true.
So I'm going to jump over here, and then I'm going to start a new chain from this destination. Now I should have pre-planned my route, and I didn't. I just figured I would be able to start somewhere different, and I'd be able to figure it out. Okay.
Yeah, I do that too. Sometimes I just think this is kind of a good move, but I don't actually do the math.
Yeah, like this will work out. I see a big cluster there. I'll go to the cluster. That is a near perfect grindstone placement. I am going to take advantage of that. Clear out some of these yellow next to grindstone. And that's nice because that single yellow up there would cause problems for me otherwise, but now I will be able to, well, I can use this other grindstone too.
Oh, nice. Perfect.
Sometimes the random number god, gangster, wants me to succeed. Random number gangster. There we go.
Yeah, so like, technically, where the grindstones land is not entirely random. There are certain rules and heuristics that dictate how we or where we drop the grindstones on. Because there's like clear.
But I'm sure you mean the random number gangster.
No, like we implemented specific rules for the grindstones just because.
There
for
are
example,
spots on the board where they're not.
Yeah, like if it lands like right at the corner of the board, it's like they're not useful. So we're like, okay, grindstones should never land at the corners. If they land right along the edges of the board, they're also like only half useful. So we also say, okay, they'll never land on the edges of the board. And then there's a bunch of other rules like that. Like if the two grindstones land beside each other, that's not very useful either. So we don't make sure they don't land beside each other. If grindstones are right beside you, they're also not useful. So there are also a bunch of rules. And
some of those
like,
have to be weighted. Because I'm sure I've seen instances where grindstones have been right next to each other or right next to George or Georgia, and I'm sure that's because there aren't other options.
Yeah.
And it's like these are acceptable if you have to, and these ones are absolutely unacceptable. I'm sure there's all kinds of conditions for that as well.
Yeah. So that's there's sort of like a heuristic rule that sort of figure out what is the best place to put a grindstone, and they can end up in bad spots, but that's only because there are no better options available.
Now I'm going to ask you a difficult question. What does the word heuristics mean? Because I hear it all the time, but I actually have never looked up the definition.
That is a good point.
It was one of those words where I'm like, I'm sure I won't need to know this ever. So I just didn't bother.
I don't know if it's used in other contexts, but the context that I learned it was in when you're weighting rules. And by weighting, I mean like weight as in heaviness. So weighting means different rules have different sort of priorities. Like this rule is very important, whereas this rule is less important. So they have different weights.
Right,
The
so
higher
you're
the weight,
scaling
more important.
likelihoods.
Yeah. So heuristics is just sort of a term that describes the process of creating rules with different weights in order to make a decision. So if you program an AI and the AI has to figure out what to do in a certain situation, it looks through all of its rule sets, and we call those the different heuristics that it's looking through. So in this situation, so in this situation, grindstone landing positions have a bunch of heuristics that dictate the best place that it should land. I think. I don't know. I'm not an English major or anything like that.
No, that makes sense to me. I feel like I need to mention this every time we go into this view. So the only reason there's a bar here at the bottom is for the strange trickery that I'm using to show you both different views. So you'll see the screen view, it's overhead camera, and then there's the on-screen view, which is wait a minute, just down here between the two of us. If you are playing on the Steam Deck, you will not have this gap, and if you're playing using exclusively remote view, you also will not have this gap. This is only because I'm trying to show you both views at the same time. So anybody who's tuning in late, that's why you see that gap. Also, I'm going to jump to the map and refill my jump potion because I think I'm going to need it again. Oh, I forgot to use the Mystic Milk Tea.
That's
I
right.
need to remember that in this next level. Oh, we were also talking about the gore a little bit earlier. Maybe we should turn that off just to give people a sense of some of the options you have here. So if you jump in here, I'll bring it up the proper screen. You can see there's a gore slider. It's right behind my head. Wait, this way. So this is actually medium gore. We could go more dramatic. There's blood splatters and stuff when you hit big enemies. But you can turn it right down and go no gore, and it's a family-friendly mode. So we can jump back in here, and now you won't see those big, nasty
Meat cubes and
meat
eyeballs.
chunks.
I like those meat cubes.
I do too. I weirdly think
gore,
they're cute, but I can understand like not everybody really likes the look and looking at that. So now you got a little like popping stars, and again we talked earlier about the events. If there is a special themed event going on, like it's near the holidays or something, around the end of the year, you'll see I think there's dreidels and Christmas ornaments, and there's those crackers, the poppers. I forget what those are called. There's a bunch of little like toys that come out of there instead of the stars.
Yeah.
It's a nice. I don't know. It's a nice option if you're really not into all the bloods and meat cubes and splattery stuff.
Or even if you just find like the gore like distracting. I know like some people just want to focus on the puzzling, so it sort of declutters the screen a little bit if you turn off the gore.
With that in mind, we can actually focus even more on the puzzle system by bringing up the contrast mode. So high contrast mode is currently off, and you'll see that I was just drawing everything normally, but if I switch it up, I turn it on low, you'll actually see that it highlights the creep color that I'm currently drawing with, and it changes depending on which color I'm on. So even though I've used blues, once I hit the grindstone and change to a new color, it'll highlight that new color, and it'll deprioritize all the others.
Yeah, so like this feature originally was something that we wanted to do to address sort of colorblind accessibility issues. Because with any game that relies on color, you really have to be careful in terms of how playable it becomes under certain colorblind situations. So the general rule is that you don't want color to be the only differentiating factor that in order to identify things in your game, because some people have different abilities to differentiate between different colors.
And we did a pass of that early on. You can see all the creeps are actually different shapes. But you never get it quite perfect. There's always room for improvement.
Yeah, and then there's also like as we added more content to the game, we added different enemies and hazards, and some of those they don't have different designs for their different colors. So just in general, we thought it would be good to develop some sort of overarching solution that can handle any kind of situation that exists or that will exist in the future. So then we developed the idea that the colorblind mode will just sort of help highlight all of a particular color that's on the board at once. So regardless of if you have any color sensitivity issues, this should help you out. And then once we implemented it, we're like, this is just a cool mode in general, and we don't really see it as specifically a colorblind accessibility mode. It's just a cool thing to help with visibility for anybody. And I always play it with it on.
Yeah, I've gotten very comfortable with it. It's pretty much my go-to way to play.
Yeah.
I actually like to use the full because it's really dramatic. Like you almost can't miss. I used to find sometimes in clusters I would miss some of the creeps, and now it's almost impossible to accidentally bypass them. Can be a little jarring if people are not expecting that. It's suddenly like, why is the screen so dark all the time? So if you somehow ended up in this mode, like if you handed your Steam Deck or your device to your children, and then all of a sudden you're like, what is this thing going on? It is the high contrast mode. It's very easy to turn off. Actually, I think that's one of my favorite complaints is like people are like, well, what is this? What happened? And it's any setting, it's anything, and it turns out they gave their device to their kid.
Yeah.
The kid's just been pressing buttons and figured something else out they didn't mean to.
Why is the language not English anymore? That's always the worst problem. You try to figure out where is the language setting when you're in a language that you're not familiar with.
Yeah, I've tended to use my phone. They've got some of those, I think it's Google Lens or something. It does a translation on the fly. Started using that. It's not always perfect, but it can often save your butt if you're just like, oh my god, this device is in there and I cannot figure it out.
Yeah, so subtitles is another kind of accessibility feature that I pretty much always use anytime I do anything. And I find it hard to like watch movies now without subtitles sometimes.
Right. It's so weird because I've had people come over and they're like, oh, why are there subtitles on? I'm like, oh, that's just how I watch TV and movies and stuff. I don't like content where I can't turn it on. So I'm totally with you on that. I would prefer to always have it available.
For me, it's a matter of anytime I'm watching movies, I'm also probably eating chips. And sometimes it's hard to hear what people are saying as you have the internal crunching in your brain going on.
Yeah, that's fair.
Especially when you're brain hungry.
Say that's pretty good. I'm normally eating chips when I'm watching TV.
I can't not eat snacks while I'm watching stuff now.
I get
bad
it.
for my health.
I get it.
So I feel like I'm sitting here, I need to be performing some other action at the same time.
Yeah, I need to be
like
doing something. I can't just sit here doing nothing.
Yeah, wasting my time just sitting here watching something.
Yeah, that's totally true. Oh, right, we gotta use our... the icon is right behind where I'm sitting here. So you... The snack is basically hidden by me, so when I'm watching the screen, I'm actually hiding it behind myself. But let's pop that open. Let's summon the Mystic.
I like how you just eat the entire cup.
Yeah, no regard for recycling or plastics. It's probably some sort of edible corn base item, but
oh, imagine they had edible straws instead of the paper ones. I would be down with that.
I'd be down with that. That's like a nice way to cap off your meal. It's just cool, just pop in your mouth. Might be a little chewy. There's our 40. Okay, so we got our first 40 change.
Wow.
Challenge.
Maybe you can get like another 40.
Yeah, I might even get 2 or 3. That would be really fortunate, considering how expensive this snack is. I think I'm going to be just short on this one.
Yeah. Probably not enough.
I can't even pick another color to...
What does straw taste like?
Just shy. And you can't use any of your gear in the bonus realm. We don't want you to waste it. Only at 37. Oh, that's a bummer.
That's okay. Probably by your next turn there'll be 2 grindstones on the board, so it'll be easy to...
Yeah, maybe it'll be really Yeah, so I can bring up the clipboard here. I did that just by pressing this button up here. There we go. This one here.
That's
That brings up the.
very nicely.
That's pretty handy. So I can see what my in-level challenges are, as well as my weekly challenge, which is higher tax bracket now. Make 440 chains or higher. Now, making them higher is very difficult, but I think I had a 41 earlier. That's something. That counts.
Can we do it? I don't think so.
There's too many other colors on the board, and they're not close enough to each other. So it might just be that first one. Yeah, I could get 35, 36.
Yeah, I don't see it. Ooh, not bad though.
Not bad, not bad. Means we gotta come back. We're really lucky and some levels are coming through. So I hope the audio is not too loud because I just noticed I don't hear it, I just see the bar bouncing, and it looks like it's at the same volume as my mic.
It sounds pretty loud. Tad loud.
Tad loud?
Mm.
Well, here's a nice thing. I can turn that all down. Oh wait, that's rumble. That might help. Maybe it's not quite so blaring.
That sounds better.
Cool. I've talked with some friends who also do some game streaming, and that's a continuing problem. Is it's always audio. How do you manage audio? How do you juggle audio? It seems like the one thing we all understand is difficult, and we have not figured out the solution to. Oh, we also didn't mention, so the goal in this level is a little different. It's not the creeps on the board, it's actually the jerks. So I only had to kill 4. So I killed the other 3 jerks before I went to the bonus realm. And now that I'm back, I go through the other ones. Unlock the door for me. We do vary up the door goal, level goal, pretty frequently. We just hadn't seen it since we started playing.
Yep. Yeah, especially like in the later biomes, like as we introduce different kinds of hazards that you see, sometimes the objectives will be like very specific to this new type of object that you haven't seen before. So we really try to change up the rules as much as possible, just to...
Yeah, you never want a game to get stale. And we didn't put in any vehicle levels, so we had to do this instead.
Or water level. Oh,
yeah, isn't
water
that always the complaint when people always go like vehicle levels or water levels? It's like the mechanics you don't spend enough time on.
Yeah.
They never feel quite as good.
Why do people hate water levels so much? Is it because of the original the Ninja Turtles on the NES? Was that the reason why people hate water levels?
That's a great question, but that also makes me wonder how a game like Echo the Dolphin was so successful, because that...
Yeah. Well, I mean, if every level is a water level, then...
Yeah, then it's polished and you know it's going to be good. It's just what you expect.
Yeah. Yeah, if Echo had a non-water level, maybe that would be the level.
Yeah, would that have really thrown people off? Would everybody be angry? It's like, wait, what? I don't want a land level with a dolphin. This sucks.
That's a good point.
Now you got me wondering. Sorry, I'm trying to get the Steam Deck a little closer to the camera, see if we can prevent it from getting washed out, but it's picking up the other light in the room. It actually does look really great. The screen is so nice.
The screen looks really good.
It's really hard to describe. We were trying to take some promo images, and because the screen is so reflective, I got the lower level model with the glossy screen instead of the matte screen. You can see everything in the room, so like every time we go to those dark scenes, you can see my reflection. Not ideal, but when I'm playing it, I don't even I don't even see it. I just see like bright, beautiful screen. It looks really, really nice in person. Oh, you know what? I also haven't used my pickaxe yet. That would be a good option.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people using pickaxe, which is surprising me because it's something that I would never really think to use, but it actually
we used it on
really
our last stream, and we showed the usefulness of it. Maybe we've influenced some people. Ken, we might be influencers.
Oh. I probably need to get a TikTok account then. That's the one where like you lip sync and dance and stuff?
Yeah, people just act on video, I think.
Oh. And why? Why do they do that? What is the purpose of doing that?
I think for clout. Clout is still a thing, right?
I see. And what is clout?
It's social currency inside of an app.
And then what do you do with this currency? Can you like buy groceries and stuff with it or something?
I think it's a thing that you show to people and they go, "Wow, you're impressive. You're a really great person." And I think that's the entirety of youth culture.
Oh. I would prefer groceries, personally. But maybe
Me too. My eating habits have gotten so out of control. I actually had to talk to somebody about it, and they basically said like, "Hey, eat less. You're eating way too much."
Yeah, like people say groceries, you save money by buying groceries. I'm like, I buy groceries almost every day. This doesn't seem right.
Every day seems more frequent than it should be, but I also don't think you're like wrong to buy groceries every day. Anything that's perishable should be purchased regularly. You're not supposed to like leave it sitting in your fridge or your cupboard for too long because it'll just, go bad. But I would say that I get groceries every 2 to 3, maybe 4 days, depending.
Yeah, maybe that's more accurate. At least every 2 days.
Yeah, multiple times a week for sure. But I mean, like my fruits and veggies and stuff, that doesn't keep for very long. So, I eat as I go, and then a daily would be a lot for me. I almost said alarming. It wouldn't be alarming, but it would just be like, oh, okay, you're going far more often than you need to.
Well, I mean, it also depends on how many groceries you're buying at a time. Generally, I buy 2 bags worth because that's all I can carry, and I don't want to drive. So I don't have to. I can just walk across the street to buy groceries.
Yeah, that's
so
fair.
Maybe the quantity of groceries I buy is a bit less than normal.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I would like to be able to carry less when I go to the grocery store. But also, if you don't meal plan, like you don't plan ahead and say, oh, this is what I'm going to have for dinner tomorrow night, you would have to go to the grocery store every day. You would be just buying what you're going to eat that day. Like, hey, I'm planning for dinner tonight. This is what we're having.
Yeah, totally.
Burn a few extra grindstones. Make my chain real big.
Nice. She's showing up quite often this week.
I'm leaving a lot of grindstones on the board, so she's getting plenty of opportunity to come out. I guess that was another thing we should have mentioned. So she comes out if she finds grindstones on the ground.
Yeah.
And I don't think it increases with the more grindstones you have, but the longer you leave them out, I believe. That's what
that. I don't know the exact heuristics. There's that word again. Because I think Drew might know. He's the other programmer. He's one of the other programmers on the team. But yeah, so that again has its own set of heuristics for when the thief shows up or when these other types of jerks show up.
We should summon Drew to hang out on this stream. He's been coming and hanging out on my personal streams too, which is really cool.
Oh, nice. What have you been playing?
So we were playing Final Fantasy XIV, like in front of him, and just getting him to hang out in the call. So he was like, "Yeah, cool, whatever. If you ever need someone to sub in," and he's actually started to join us. And I missed a few weeks, and he surpassed me in level. And then he started multiple jobs on his character, and he's kicking my butt now.
Oh, nice.
I am just the lowly tank, and he is like one of the every characters where he's like, oh, what do you guys need? Oh, white mage? Okay, I'll do that. Oh, do we need a DPS today? Yeah, okay, I'll jump in and do that.
Yeah, I remember back in the day when I was sort of playing a lot of MMOs. I had friends who like had multiple computers set up, and they would like be playing on 2 characters at once. And I was
No
like,
way.
yeah.
That's wild. I can't really get my head around how that would work because I struggle with my one computer. Mind you, I have multiple computers in the room, but I couldn't game on multiple at the same time. I did buy like one of those fancy one-handed MMO keyboards.
Oh, nice.
Because I was like, hey, this will be like one of those quality of life improvements that's worth paying money for. I don't know if I still feel that way, but like it was cheap, so I'm not particularly bothered by it.
That's something weird I think about sometimes. How come we don't use 2 mics at the same time? I mean, we have 2 hands, right?
I think it would be difficult to track 2 cursors. Like, if I could click on 2 things at once, I'd have to figure out what I want to be clicking on, but also I'd have to be able to track them in 2 separate directions. Like, they're both going to different places, right?
That's true. I don't know.
But I will mention, Drew also uses 2 mice.
Oh, there you go.
So
Maybe that is the next evolution of human interface.
I would not be surprised. Yeah, he uses 2 keyboards and 2 mice. So the keyboards are stacked one in front of the other. Here, I'll switch cameras so I can demonstrate. So he's got keyboard 1 right here, and keyboard 2 will be just about here. He's got a mouse on this side and a mouse on this side, so he can like switch as needed, and he's completely ambidextrous while doing it. It's really, really interesting to watch. I do not have that skill. But he does it because he works on multiple computers at the same time. Like, one was on a different operating system, so he would switch between them. And sometimes I think it's just handy because, like, oh, this one's processing. Okay, switch to the other one. I just went and got one of those apps that lets you put your mouse and keyboard on multiple computers just by moving it. That's what I did instead.
Yeah, I've been thinking about this a lot lately because I try to use my mouse with my left hand sometimes just to like balance things out. Because like sometimes I get like shoulder or wrist problems on my right hand. I'm like, okay, what if I like balance it out? Will I have less health problems? I think it helps.
Yeah, I think giving your body a break sometimes is really, really beneficial. So I didn't plan this exactly, but it's working out pretty well in my favor. So I brought the Cursed Sword, which weakens all jerks and other strong enemies by 1 HP, and there's a bunch of them right off the bat in this level. So I'm going to go ahead and use that at least once. Weaken everybody a little bit. You know, maybe twice. It'll make everybody a little easier. No one's more than 10 now.
Yeah, this board is not looking good.
It's not a good starting board. This is one of those levels that's slow to get going, but I feel like once it's going.
Okay. Not great, but
no. The one like avenue it's sort of leading me to is like, okay, do you want to break into this area? No. Do you want to break into this area up here? No. So I think I'm going to bide my time for one more turn. Also, I want to end here. I think that's going to be smarter. Okay, it did not fall as I expected. I was thinking that green one would come through, but now he's about to get killed. I want to be able to go up to the left. The upper corner seems like a safe spot to go. Really want to get up there. Oh, free mystic. Okay, I'm gonna use my chain to get there. That's really
definitely want to do that.
Yeah, I can go back and do my weekly challenge. Try to get those 40 chains. I don't know why, but as soon as I said 40 chains, my brain went to 2 chains.
What's
Which
2
I think
chains?
is a wrapper, no? Is there a wrapper named 2 chains?
Sounds like it could be a name of a rapper. I'm not too familiar with the rap scene myself.
See, this would be something Drew would know. And he'd ridicule me for not knowing. Like, what, you've never heard of 2 Chainz? Oh, just barely. Just barely get to 40.
So we're at 2. We've got 2 of them so far.
Yeah, so only 2 more to go.
That's pretty good progress for a weekly challenge.
Yeah, it's not bad. We've done this in, what, 80 minutes.
Oh wait, looks like you might be able to get another one.
It does look
no.
Wait, don't you count me out yet.
I don't think it's...
No, we could count the ones that aren't lit right now, and I know I'm not going to get there.
Yeah, just barely.
It's so
It's
close.
like you're off by 2.
I was thinking I could go a long way here. Ugh.
Save it.
So there's going to be a bunch of these greens though. The greens are going to help me with this. So I think... Oh! Wow. So lucky. They're just going to loop around here to connect to the grindstone to open up the reds.
Okay, yeah. I think you got it.
Almost missed that one.
I think.
I think so. Yeah, we're good.
Cool.
Boom! 3 of 4 in one session. To complete this weekly challenge, we are giving you the roadmap. Just watching the audio as it ticks up grindstones. So the other risk of having too many grindstones, I believe it's once you're above 80 in a level, you're at risk of seeing on the
tough jerk. Is that
well, that's what we call him internally, but he's got a proper name that is completely escaping me right now.
I don't know either. I'm so used to looking at code that I just go by what we call things in code, which is 90% of the time not what we actually call it, which makes things more confusing.
I completely understand that problem, even though I don't suffer from it.
And then it's weird because then as I'm writing code, I'm like, do I continue calling this thing, even though it's not?
Yeah, should I change the name to the new name?
Yeah, but then it's like all the old code is still calling it this old thing, so probably don't want to do that.
Yeah. So what's the right way to do that? If you were making a game and suddenly something gets renamed, do you like refactor the code and rewrite it all to match the new stuff, or do you generally go like, it's not worth it unless this specific thing happens?
You probably should refactor it. That's probably like the right thing to do, but you know, it's not really a problem that it's not a technical problem. It's fine. It doesn't matter what you name things, but it's just it can make things a bit confusing.
Yeah. I would imagine running into any scenario where there's a conflict between what something is called could create some real issues. Ooh, I feel like this is going to put me on the run for a little bit. I have also forgotten to use my pickaxe as I go running roughshod through all these rocks and ice blocks and good
This
stuff.
seems like a good pickaxe turn.
Yeah, I'm gonna try not to get hit though, because I go up here, I'm gonna get hit by the jerk here.
Yeah.
Same thing if I'm here or here. And I somehow ended up back here. I'm gonna hit again. I guess I could do it like that.
Oh,
that feels
there
smart.
we go.
Yeah, and I'm going to use my pickaxe because it guarantees resources from any destructibles, and it gives me a chance for bonus.
And I think if you kill a jerk with it active, it will double the amount of things that they spawn as well.
Yes. Actually, I wonder if I should do this. No? No. Actually, hang on, I'm gonna go way back. Let's redraw this. Start from the top. Just go with blues. Actually, I would like to do the rock because it's gonna get me gold. And gold is a very valuable resource. Now, if I change here, I can go to these greens.
And then you can get that jerk there.
Yeah.
And then you can wrap around the blues.
Or stick on the greens?
You can you can go to the blues.
Yeah.
And then
the blues.
It seems like a
Oh, look at that. Look at that. That's teamwork there, Ken. So we activate our pickaxe.
Backseat gaming.
Chain. Yeah, I'm totally okay. If anybody wants to pop into a stream and tell me how to do something, it absolutely helps.
I think the problem is that there's a screen delay, so by the time someone says something, it's like you probably already moved on.
Yeah, I also don't have the chat right in my face, so I also just noticed Albert Bears making fun of us for not understanding TikTok. Indie game dev doesn't understand TikTok. Dancing more at 11.
I feel like anybody over the age of 30 at this point doesn't understand TikTok.
Well, in theory, we're all just guessing. I still miss Vine. I really liked when everything was like 5-6 seconds. Like that was a good pace for me. Man, okay, so the board is slammed with resources right now. That is the absolute magic of the pickaxe. If you can spot those really advantageous moves, it is so beneficial.
Yeah, another thing about the pickaxe is that it gives you 3 uses and it recharges between levels. So you can just keep using it for free 3 times a level.
Yeah, you never have to pay repair costs on it. Kind of wonderful. It is definitely one of those items that I really like using.
Mm-hmm.
Off by 1. This was a... Yeah, I was really hoping I could get another 30, but it's fine. Maybe use the pickaxe again.
You already have 114 grindstones in this level, so I think you're pretty good.
Yeah, but that was a bonus one. Yeah,
getting too greedy.
If I was just grinding the main level for that, I would be very impressed with myself for having not hit the level goal. I think that would have been something special. Man, I'm sorry, Ken. I know you can't see yours right now, but the screen on this Steam Deck is just amazing. Do you still have yours handy? Did you want to pull it open?
I think I'm okay for now. I can see your screen, so I can see how nice it looks.
Alright, fair enough. I think we might be wrapping up soon, but I was going to try to get this chest and slob before I get out of here. It is really hard to look at the screen and prop it up, keeping it in camera.
Yeah.
I understand why streamers make so much money. The good ones, anyway. There, that's nice. That's my last pickaxe. Let's get resources on the board. Make a joke that only you and I would get, which is like, oh man, dig that music, which I definitely can't hear because it's not playing for us on our end. It's only audible.
We've listened to this music for like years and years at this point, so.
Yeah, at this point I can, not if you name a song because I don't know any of the names, but if you told me like, oh yeah, think about Grindstone music, I'd just start bopping and jamming like, yeah, I'm in.
That happens with pretty much any game we make. Like, you listen as you develop the game, you're going to be listening to the music so much that it's just burned into your brain.
Yeah, I mean,
sometimes
I still... that is like, are we making games with people who make amazing music exclusively, or are we extra in tune with it because we've been developing to that music for so long that that's just like, of course we're into it now.
Probably a bit of both. But I mean, to this day, I still think about the title screen music for like a random mobile game that I worked on 10 years ago, Atlantis Sky Patrol.
Oh yeah, I don't remember the music from that game, but I do remember working on it. Man, that was a long time ago.
Pre-iPhone smartphones. Actually, they weren't even smartphones. They were just
T9.
Java, Brew. I don't remember.
I was joking earlier with Farah. I was like, man, we're so old. I mean, she's not, but we are. The rest of us have been around for a very long time in this world.
Relatively speaking.
Relatively speaking. Okay, trying to get the blues to drop down here. Why did he go right in the corner, Ken? Why are the heuristics?
I think he's one of the... Yeah, we don't have a lot of heuristics for the Slob, so we just let him go wherever. And sometimes it can be in a really bad spot. But that's a good point. Maybe we should have heuristics for the Slob.
No, this is fine. I'm just gonna have to be patient and blow up all these blues. Actually, I might be able to get a mostly new board here. Okay, not quite, but I can get a good chunk.
I'm just looking at the reflection of your ceiling fan.
Oh, I got lazy with my hands because I'm trying to look.
Yeah.
So it's pointed at my face, but then I think like, oh, I gotta get it aimed at the camera. And then if I go too high, you get my studio light. So it's very difficult to do this kind of stream. So hopefully somebody figures it out or gets a camera that's much better at capturing just the screen itself.
They don't have like an official stand yet for the Steam Deck, right?
No, the dock is coming. The dock is coming. So
Yeah.
right now everybody's just using random USB-C dongles. So you can see I've got an Anchor one here plugged into HDMI and power. I had tried putting a network dongle in it right before we started, and that was causing it to get confused between the Wi-Fi and the plugged-in one, and then we just stopped working. So we just went with the Wi-Fi and hoped it was going to work. And other than that one hiccup, I think it's been pretty good.
I don't like the word dongle.
You're not the only one.
Really should have a better word for it.
You're not the only one. Yeah, I honestly didn't. Oh, this sucks. Gonna take a couple hits here. I didn't mind it initially because it didn't really suggest anything to me. But the more I hear it, the more it starts. Well, I was trying to be mature about it. Like, we all know what people are thinking. But yeah, I tried to. Oh my goodness, yes! This suit is kicking butt today. Saving my gravy.
Random number gangster.
Absolutely killing it. Boom! Didn't even have to run into the fence.
Wait, dongle was an actual word before USB dongles, right?
That's a good question. I'm trying to remember if I would have heard it like in the old days.
Dongle. Definition. It's a small piece of computer hardware. What?
Maybe it is new.
Dongle definition. Yeah, small device able to be connected. Oh, interesting. So dongle was not a word before.
It was not a word before computer devices. Interesting. Okay, so as we're getting ready to wrap up, I'm just going to mention for the last time, when you play on your Stream Deck and you are not trying to do weird gimmicks to watch on a camera while also streaming gameplay, you will not have this blue bar. It will take up the whole screen. This is just a weird relic of a hack that I'm using so that it appears nicely when I go to this view, so that this fills the screen and there's no black bar at the top and nothing's cut off. But you won't have that. You'll have a lovely portable experience and it will look so nice.
Yep. And you can play using the touchscreen or the controllers or the touchpads, I guess. So it'll support all these different things. Or if you plug it into a keyboard and mouse, you can use that or an external controller. So, you
Yeah,
can play the game however you want
I should have plugged in a mouse just to show that off. I don't have
into
one
your
handy
dongle.
enough to do it now, but yeah, I could plug it into my dongle for next time. So if we get to do this type of stream again, we can show that off. But for now, I think we should wrap it up. Thanks for hanging out with us, guys. Remember, Grindstone is still on sale as part of the launch sale for 40% off on Steam. It is Steam Deck compatible, as you can see. We've been playing it here the whole last 90 minutes. And
And you can try out the demo for free too if
you
you
can try
want.
the demo for free.
Yeah, it's quite a chunky demo, so it'll give you a good sense of the game.
Yeah, we'll just jump down here. It's these like 15 levels are all included in the demo. There's 15 levels. There's the first boss. Any of the achievements that you complete in the demo get unlocked with the full version, so you're not missing out on anything by trying it out. You don't have to double up and go back and play twice.
Yep. I mean, you could if you really want to, if you enjoy
Good.
the game that
We
much.
absolutely encourage you. That's why we gave you extra save files, but you don't have to if you were just like, I just need progress, further progress, which is totally fine. All right, thanks everybody for hanging out for Capybara Games. I'm Christian.
I'm Ken.
And we will leave you with our classic Cappy. Bye.
Bye.